So for those of you who do not know, my name is Rebecca Kane. I have been with this company for 7+ years. I am an ALC member for 6 out of those 7 years. I am also the productivity coach for both Hudson Valley United and the Oneonta office. And I am a homegrown capper. So I'm going to push you guys up. Hold on. This is my thing. I can't stand it. I'll also warn you, and any of the people in my PC program will tell you, I will randomly call on you to see what your thoughts are. So get ready. If you can't talk, put it in the chat. Haley, you can see the chat at the same time, right? Okay, perfect. All right, so welcome to Spark 9. Today is the day in the life of a realtor. We're going to go through this, and I'm not going to say I'm going to go through it super fast, but I'm going to go through and any questions, please feel free to stop me at any point in time. Yeah, we're going to go on to the next person. Go ahead and switch it. I'm not going to go through that part of it. Does everybody have their workbook as well? We all know where the workbooks are? Okay. Just so that I know what that I know you know what I'm referring to when I say certain things. All right. This is my fun thing. This is backwards, but whatever. All right. So here is our roadmap for the day. We're going to grow your business and run your business as usual, right? So growing our business and running our business is setting daily objectives, weekly, daily, monthly, yearly, right? So we have all these goals that we break down to make it super simple. And that is the whole reason we do that. Creating an accountability. And then I will ask for you guys to give me some ahas. Can everybody agree to do that for me today? Don't make fun of me, Cassie. I can see it in your eyes. After this, your session, after doing all these sessions, you should always be working on building your database, script practicing, and lead generation, right? Because those are your business, that's your business objective. If you're not building and feeding your database, there is no business. So lead generation is very, very important. All right, let's skip over this. Perfect. All right, so people do not decide their futures, they decide their habits, and their habits decide their futures. This is from The One Thing, and a quote from Gary Keller. Quotes from, I apologize, it's not Gary Keller, quotes F.M. Alexander, an educator and the span, okay? What does this mean to you? What does this tell us? Don't make me do it. We're only 2 seconds in. I'm going to call somebody's name.
That means you don't have to be, you don't have to change your future to be successful. Just change your habits and you will be as successful.
Okay. So the goal is to develop really good habits, right? Because that's what's going to actually change your future. So if you do not have the daily habits, you cannot change the projection of your life, right? In any shape or form, right? So if you want to lose weight, you have to change your habits, your eating habits and your exercise habits and things of that nature. If you want to change your career, you have to take different steps in order to do that. And that's actually a habit, right? So you want to make sure that building your career worth having and your business worth owning and your life worth living is a habit, right? It starts now and ultimately will create that future that you are looking to have. So by the end of this, we're hopeful to have you guys update your 411, time block your calendar, and develop an accountability plan. So what do you think successful agents do every day? I think it might be on the next slide. I'm not really sure. Oh, look at that. It is. Katrina, what do you think? Ha.
They email potential clients, check up on if they want to do an open house. They log into certain workshops to gain more information, make phone calls, contact their contacts in the phone, I guess. I don't know, to see if anyone is looking to sell or buy, things like that.
Okay,
Lead generation.
okay. Kirk, what do you think successful agents do every day?
I think everything she said, but I think they also keep up with their Facebook, Instagram, um, other avenues in social media.
Okay.
Get their names out and everything they do.
Okay. All right. So at the beginning of the day, the beginning of the day, so this is an example, right? So the beginning of the day, you should build out time for you, some kind of motivational time, right? In my life, in my life, we'll give you an example. There's not a lot of time first thing in the morning because I have to get kids ready for school. So how do I motivate myself to do what I need to do all day? On my car ride in, it's a 35-minute ride from my house to my office. So I have a John Maxwell podcast on maybe, or a Gary Keller podcast, something along those lines, or maybe it's just straight music that's pumping me up. Right. So I'll give you a good song right now. I'm totally listening. I love Pitbull, and because it's got a lot of energy, right? So We Will Win is a great one, because what is that telling me? We're going to win no matter what. No matter what it is, if we band together, we're going to win. So that is, we're going to win every day. So the first thing that you should do is make times that it's going to motivate you for the day. Set yourself up, clear your minds, and be ready for your day. The next thing everybody should be doing is, in order to develop these daily successful habits, you never stop lead generating. Never. Okay. Lead generation is the number one thing you need to do for your business. So if you see lead generation and follow-up is from 8:30 to 11:30 in this particular agent's calendar. The one thing that I will alter from what this course tells you is I don't always do it first thing in the morning, right? I may do some first thing in the morning and some at night. It may be some in the afternoon. It will depend on what my day looks like, but there is always a significant block of time that is lead generating. So you want to make sure you do that, but that is following up as well, because lead generation is included. Your follow-up is very, very, very important as well, right? Because if you don't follow up, what's the point in generating that lead? Is there any point in generating the lead if you're not going to follow up and have a conversation? Right? So you want to follow up. The timing for these activities depends on your needs and your schedule, but it's important that you include both in your business to grow the business. So in my particular calendar, I have time block spaces to follow up in the morning on things that came in all night long or late after I have decided that that is the end of my day. Right? And you should absolutely put that in your calendar, because if you put it in your calendar, it's going to happen. Because what is the rule of thumb with your calendar? Who's got that one? How about Monique? What do you think? What's the rule of thumb with your calendar?
Basically the same, earmarking time to do everything, the 10-4, make sure you're doing lead generation. If you have an Instagram or Facebook, that you're actually posting content relatable to help you get lead generation. It's about balance is what I'm kind of understanding. And without the balance, you're not going to succeed.
Okay. So if it's not on your calendar, does it exist?
No,
Exactly. So if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist, because how do you know to do it? Right? If you put it on your calendar, it helps you develop that daily habit. Sorry, habit just didn't want to come out of my mouth just then. The daily habit in order to do it. So if I don't have on my calendar that I need to follow up on my Oneonta stuff and then follow up on my HVU stuff, I'm not going to do it. I'm only going to do one because the other one's not there. If I don't have, okay, there's time blocked out for me to have open Zoom time for my PCs. If I don't have it on my calendar, I can't train, right? I can't call, I can't answer questions. So if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. What do you think is the most important thing on this little calendar right now? Just this little clip. Give me something on here that you think that I'm going to say is the most important thing.
I'm going to say lunch. that little time to kind of remember yourself.
Yes, so that you're on the right track.
Family time.
Exactly. Do not ever forget that. That is the first thing that should be on your calendar every single day. Okay. Besides your lead generation, you need to make sure that you, in order to, there's no such thing as work-life balance. I don't care what anybody tells you, it doesn't exist, right? But you have to create it. All right. There will be time that work is going to be crazy, but you need to make sure that the time is set aside for your family, yourself, and your family. So lunch is absolutely important because guess what? At lunchtime, we start to get really tired if we don't fuel ourselves. So running business activities are the things that you should have on here are marketing your seller listings, showing buyers houses, negotiating contracts, transaction management to closing, vendor management, setting goals, compliance and risk management, attending training and getting coaching and managing your money. At the end of the day, an agent looks ahead and time blocks for the next day. Your schedule can shift based on client schedules for listings and showing appointments and the market center's training calendar and other items in your schedule. Remember to always put your big rocks on your calendar first. So your big rocks are your family, right? Because we do God, family, business. So motivation, God, right? Family, then business. I don't exactly agree with the schedule change for your clients because I time block when I'm going to take people out, and that's what I tell them. I have this time and this time available. Which one works for you? Right? Because I am a business owner. I am not in the business of being owned. Right? The clients don't run me, I run them. Without me, they can't get in the house. Right? All right, let's go to the setting weekly and daily objections is the next one, I think. And we're really going to skip that one. Let's just go straight to what we're going to do. So how do you set your weekly goals and translate them into daily objectives, sorry. All right, so your 411 is a really amazing tool, isn't it, guys? Right? So your 411 should have your annual goal, which you should have gotten from doing your business plan with your accountability partner, your coach, your team leader, whomever you have done it with, right? Because we do them all multiple times and we need to review them. So your goal should be at the top. That goal should consist of two things. It can consist of your business, it consists of personal, but it should say your blah, blah, blah. Your money goal, and you want it to say how many transactions for the year goal it's going to be, right? So if you want to make $100,000 and you need 24 deals that year to do it, what should your monthly goal look like? Alex. Alex, are you there? Or are you just there? Okay, so he's just there. Emily, how about you?
2 transactions a month.
Yes, ma'am. So let me ask you this. Do you break down your goals even deeper and say, I want 2 sellers this month or 2 buyers this month, depending on what your focus is? If you break it down even deeper into something like that, you can break your weekly goals down even deeper. All right. So when we deep down into your weekly goals, what does that consist of? What should your weekly goals say? Emily, you came off mute again. You want to tell me?
Your weekly goals?
Yep. So what should we, if your annual goal is 24 deals, your monthly goal is 2 deals, what should your week look like?
Half a transaction? No.
It's okay.
I'm not really sure how to put it.
That's okay. Joseph, you want to chime in? You got to unmute, buddy. Unmute it.
So what was the last thing you were discussing, like how to break down the goals?
Okay, so if you take your yearly goal and your yearly goal is $100,000 and you need 24 transactions to do that, we've already figured out we need 2 per month. in order to meet that goal, right? So we've broken it down that way. So now how do we break it down into a week, what we need to do to achieve that monthly goal?
Right. So sometimes you can ask yourself, like, how do you want to do it? Do you want to do it through buyers? Do you want to do it through sellers? If you want to do it through sellers, then reach out to people who you think may be interested in selling their house, or put out content that resonates with people who would be interested in selling their house to generate more leads.
Exactly. So your weekly goals should line up with your monthly goals, right? You need to figure out what you need to do this week in order to reach that month goal, right? So if you need to talk to 20 people a day, which is what you should be doing, if you need to add 10 people to your database per week, which is another thing that we should be doing, right? Or daily, then that is what those goals should be. So that the next week when you review that, you're going to look at it and say, okay, so how much of this did I accomplish? This is your roadmap. This is literally telling you how to do your business every day of the week. So on the second week, when you look at it and you say, oh, I only got 80 calls in this week and talk to 80 people, and my goal is 100 because I'm going to talk to 20 people per day and I'm going to work 5 days per week. What does that mean for your second week? Rizwana, tell me what it means.
So for the second week, if you didn't do what you were supposed to do in the first week, put it in, adjust
you
it
need to-
in the next 2 weeks and the coming week. So
Yes.
it's easier, and
Right.
you don't have a lot of stuff to do in 1 week. So just don't try to do it all in one day. Just break it down into next 3 weeks and divide it.
Exactly. So you want to make sure that you replace what you didn't do, because if you don't do it, you're not going to get to your goal, right? If the activities aren't done, the goal's not going to happen. So if I only made 80 contacts this week, next week I need 120. Right? So I need to add another 5 people per day, which means my goal will be to call 25 people per day. All right. And as you guys grow in the business, you'll be able to catch these numbers of how many people you talk to each week, to know how many times you dial to get to a person on the phone, then how many people you need to talk to each week to know how much to get an appointment. So all those numbers in command, when you set your goals and those percentages, that will make sense after you've started to track all this. So the next thing that we're going to examine in your weekly goals objective is applying your 80-20 principle. Flip us. So the 80-20 principle is your big rocks, right? So these are the things that, at least in my program, we were discussing this week, right? So 20% of your effort is going to get 80% of the results. You're going to make more money. You're going to have more time with your family and be more organized if you only focus on your big rocks. And your big rocks are negotiating, going on appointments, and lead generating, right? So those are the things that you need to focus on. How can we get rid of the 80%? How can we get rid of some of the stuff that we shouldn't be doing? Because that's not our job. We're not in the business of. Our business is to create relationships and generate leads for business. So what is it that we can do to enforce that we are only doing the 20%?
Get the leverage department.
100%.
Hire an assistant.
You can hire an assistant. Right now, the leverage department is probably the smartest thing to do, right? Because it's already included in most of your plans. So use it, right? If you are a new agent and you need to get into really good habits, handing off the 80% of the business that you do not need to focus on is the #1 thing you should be doing. Because one, it's less stress. You don't have to worry about compliance. They do. You don't have to worry about the paperwork. They do. While you need to be able to understand it to your clients, because remember, that is your job as a licensee, you need to be able to be on the phone more. You need to be talking to more people. You need to be generating more leads and going on more appointments. Our big rocks are lead generation, going on appointments, negotiating, and doing it again. Make sense? All right, so I actually was supposed to ask you that, but guess what? I just told you the answer anyway. Never fails. All right, so let's set our objections. Does everybody use a 411? Is everyone using it?
No,
Not as much as I would like to. I struggle with it.
Okay, what do you struggle with?
I think actually kind of pinpointing. I struggle with my 401 and my business plan because as a new agent, I'm really trying to figure out what's best. I don't know, it's more like direction with me, even as I'm answering your question and have no sense of direction.
Gotcha. Okay. I appreciate that. So here's what I would give the suggestion for a new agent. You're gonna try tons and tons of different things, right? Because you do need to find what works the best for you and your personality and your business, because each one of our businesses is different, right? My type of lead generation is going to be different than yours, possibly, or Katrina's, right? We could all do a different form that works better for us. So you need to figure out your strengths. So sometimes it's okay to have multiple trials, but what you need to do is say, okay, this week I'm going to try these 4, let's say. Don't overwhelm yourself, or try these 2 and see how they work and revisit how they worked. Get them good. And so there's a book and I can't remember the name of it right now. It's called, but there's something that I learned. It's called a 5-lane highway, right? When you master, you can't build the other 4 lanes if you do not have the first lane smooth, right? So if you lead generate and you focus on it, you cannot, then you can go to the next business and the next business. So it's basically, you want to get it rocking. You want to get your lead generation into a groove where you can basically set it and forget it type thing. So some of your stuff you're going to be able to set and forget. So Command is a great asset for that. You can sit for a couple of hours on one day a week and set your entire month up for posts, and you'll never have to do it. You don't have to do it for 30 days. So then you can go on to the next form of lead generation. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
So if you map it out each week, what you want to try, it's great as long as you do the review part at the end of the week. And each quarter, you really need to play the red light, green light game, right? You make sure your money is working for you. If it's not, it's a red light and we find something else to green light on. Okay. Anybody else want to say anything about the 411 or questions before we move on?
This might sound a little crazy, but what I use is a daily planner. I just put things in data planner that I know I need to put down. I guess its format's almost the same way, I think.
Yeah, no, so listen, it doesn't actually have to be that sheet, right? But it is your weekly goals of, this is what I want to accomplish this week. So my daily planner is my calendar. My goals are what I want to accomplish this week on my 411. And then I translate that into the 5 days that I'm going to work, or 7 at the point I'm at. So, so that's the way you whichever way works, as long as you write things down. And I know lots of people like to use electronics for everything, but sometimes if you just physically write something down, you're going to remember it better. It's going to resonate with you and you're going to do it. But as long as you are looking at it every single solitary day and keeping your goal in front of you to motivate you to get to that point, that's all that really truly matters. All right, so setting your objections for the week. You're going to translate your weekly goals into these daily objections, right? You want them to be timely. You want them to be identifiable. You want them to be metric driven, attainable, and purposeful. So you want to make sure that identifiable. What is your goal, right? So you want to know what the goal is and make sure it is clear. How are you going to measure the progress towards obtaining that goal that you set? So you need to understand, all right, so if my goal is to talk to 100 people a week, guess what? It's really easy to figure out how that's measurable. Did you talk to 20 people a week? But this is what you need to do, is track that. My guys have, I wonder if I can give it to, I might be able to put it in the chat. So I have this awesome thing I use every day. It's a call log. It's got 100 numbers on it so that I can call those 100 contacts, right? So that I can see that I have called it. So it's measurable, it's obtainable, it's noticeable. Make sure that you put enough space in your calendar to be obtainable.
Where did you get that form?
I have had that for years. I'm gonna actually see if I can put it in the chat for you guys. I'm not 100% sure. Did I mess up your screen? Can you still see hers or not?
I can still see mine.
I'm gonna find it. I might have to just email it to Haley because I didn't have her do it, because for whatever reason, this is all half backwards for me. I'll find it and put it in the chat. This is something that I put in the Google Drive for my PCs too, so that they have it, so they can track if they choose. OMG. Forgive me. I have like 5 emails now for everything. K-Score, I've got 2 new emails, plus my KW email, plus my whatever email. All right, let's see if I can download it. If I can download it, I might be able to do it without, I hit go to my Google Drive. Look at me, I did it. I lied, I didn't do it. There you go. See if you guys can download that. So on that sheet, it's an action. It came out of a book. It's a Keller Williams thing. It tells you to place a mark every time you make a dial. You circle it if you talk to somebody, and then you put an A over top of it if you make an appointment. And then you can track how many dials that you made for the day, how many number of those contacts that you actually made, because everybody knows what a contact is versus not a contact, right? Do you all know what a contact is?
No.
Okay, so a contact is actually having a conversation with someone in some form of business. So when you're calling your database and you're having a conversation with them, and you do it using your Ford, or having that conversation for and ask for business, or let them know that you're a realtor or something along those lines, that's counted as a contact. An appointment is obviously setting up a buyer appointment or a listing appointment. And then you can track how many calls it is. This is actually used for us for recruiting too. So that's my recruiting one as well, but it works for real estate. So purposeful, when you're doing your goals for the week, make sure everything is purposeful. Okay. So, and make sure it matches up with your monthly goal and your yearly goal, because if it doesn't, why are we doing it? Right. All right. So how do we get this all accomplished? Go ahead, Haley. Are you having fun? How do we get it accomplished? How do we accomplish all of these things that we put in our goals and put in this 411? Michelangelo, I love the name. I've been dying to say it, so you're on call.
Good morning, how are you?
Good morning. So tell me, how do we accomplish all this stuff? How are we gonna accomplish it?
I was in the middle of a little bit of a disturbance. Can you please Can you please ask the question again?
Sure. All right. So if we are putting all this stuff in our 411 and we've set our yearly and our monthly goals and our weekly goals, how are we going to accomplish those weekly goals?
Well, in essence, are they broken down appropriately? Number one, very explicit.
Yeah.
And obviously, then you have to put aside that time. So you could say, however, 9 to 11, 10, 1 to 2, however works for you.
Yeah.
And stick to it. Pretty much you need a system in place.
Exactly.
In your own scheduling has to be.
Exactly. So you need a time block. Whatever the time block looks for you is great. So some of us have to pick up our kids from the school bus, right?
Right.
So we need to time block that piece of time out because we can't do anything else then, right? Some of us, I mean, my calendar says that I'm going to go home by 5:30 every day to make dinner. Mine adjusts on a regular basis because sometimes you just call Domino's and say, all right, dinner is there at 5:30, it's done, right? So you can adjust your time blocking, but you need to have it on there. And if you have to take something off, because guess what? Life happens, right? You cannot predict what's going to happen every day. So for those of you that were on in the morning, before we started, my husband's in Tennessee, his truck broke down on the way there. So did I know that was going to happen? Absolutely not. So we had to adjust. So if I erased things in my calendar so that I could fix his issue, I had to replace them. So if you erase something, you need to replace it. It doesn't necessarily mean it needs to be replaced today, but if you really erase something, replace it tomorrow. It's just like if you have to cancel a doctor's appointment. What do? You reschedule it, okay? And you're no different. Block the most important tasks first. So your big rocks first. So your family time, block that out first in your calendar. Anything that is something that you can't do. And I'll give you a couple of little hints that I've found very helpful for myself. Anything I can't change is in red. Okay, in red because I cannot change it. That is an important thing that cannot be changed. And that is reserved for my kids' stuff with my family, doctor's appointments, things of that nature. Then anything that is green is a money-making activity. So it makes you happy, right? So you see that you're doing something green, you're like, I'm making money, right? So that's what we want to do. Then if you change another color to something else. So training is another color. So on my calendar, all the training stuff is purple. If it's something I'm teaching, it's orange. Why would you do it in different colors? And if you do it in a written book, you can use highlighters, but why would I do it in different colors? What does that do for, what do you think?
It organizes.
It organizes.
It also lets you know things of importance, like what's important, what's a priority, what's something that you can take care of a little later.
The visualization of the different colors and knowing what it is makes it super easy to rip through my day. Right. And I mean, I promise you, I have fires that come up throughout the entire day and it's fine. Right. But it keeps you on track. Okay. Does everybody have the training calendar downloaded to their calendars?
Yes.
No.
Yes. Who said no?
No.
Kirk? Why
Yes.
not?
Where do I get it?
In the case, it's kwhvgroup.com.
Okay. I have that calendar. I'm sorry. Yeah, I see it every
Yes,
day.
that is the training calendar. Okay. So I'll teach you another secret because that makes your calendar look really crazy and sometimes you can lose stuff. If you click on the 3 dots on the side of them, it'll pop open and it'll say copy to Kirk's calendar. Click that and it'll put it on your calendar. Do that on the 1st of every month. Go through the entire 30 days, copy what you want. Pay attention to the emails that Haley sends out every day to tell you what's in the market center, because that's how you can adjust your calendar to make sure that you are doing the things that are important. And then you can not delete it, but you can turn off that calendar. So I turn that calendar off because mine's already green, red, and orange enough. So I need to make sure that I have, I like a little bit of white space here and there so that maybe I can get lunch, you know. All right, in his book, The One Thing, Gary Keller cites Dr. Gail Matthews, who found that individuals who wrote their goals down are 39.5% more likely to succeed. Individuals who wrote down their goals and shared the progress reports with a friend were 76.7% more likely to succeed. What do you think what does that mean? Haley, you can flip the thing because I'm actually on the next one, but it's okay. What does somebody tell me what that is? I mean, it's literally on the screen, so you should be able to figure it out.
Accountability.
Right. So how do you do that? So if you
Well,
create accountability, who's your accountability?
Yourself.
Who's yours? Yourself could be it. But if you only do it for yourself, this doctor's study says that you will only be 39.5% likely to succeed.
PC
How do
coach, your partner, your parents, anyone.
Right. So if you share this information with someone else, right? So every Sunday, my PCs are supposed to email me their 411 so I can see it. So at any given time, they don't know when I'm going to call them and say, okay, so what have we gotten done this week on this goal? Because I'm holding them accountable to their goals, right? So if you share it with somebody else, that's going to be a way for you to succeed even more. Because then you have somebody who's in your corner cheering you on. I know it sounds funny and you don't want a cheerleader, it's a rah-rah, whatever it is. But I promise you, when you're sharing something with someone else, it works out so much better. And that's part of our Y4C2Ts, right? Teamwork. We all achieve more together. Haley, flip me over. Accountable is an attitude and an approach. Accountability is a tool for changing, achieving results. Accountability is a dynamic cycle, not a static concept. What does that mean?
It varies from time to time. It's not going to be always the same every single time.
Love it. Love it. So setting your goals and doing the key activities, measuring the results, evaluating the process, and making the adjustments is exactly that. And sometimes we need somebody else to look at it from the outside, right? Have you ever done something over and over again and you know that it's going to work and you're just, or it's supposed to work, right? And it's just not working the way you want it to. What do? Do you look for somebody else's opinion or help, right? So sometimes just asking somebody else to look at something from the outside, or you can clearly see something from the outside that somebody on the inside isn't seeing, right? So you may think that you're talking to enough people, but if you're not reaching your goals, are you talking to enough people? Make sense? Accountability is about getting and using the feedback. Okay. So when we hold you accountable as productivity coaches, we're not holding you accountable because we want to be bullies, right? I don't ever want to be a bully, but I want to hold you accountable because I want to help you get to the next level, right? So the next level is by using my feedback to see what you can do differently to get better results. You need to take the time on a regular basis, plan regular meetings with whomever is holding you accountable. Coaching is the number one thing, no matter where you are in business, okay? So as new agents, you're all in PC coaching. That is your first step. After you're in PC coaching and you're cappers and you're moving right along, right? And you're getting your business done, the next step is MAPS coaching, or the TL can coach your business coaching, right? So I have a coach. So I have a coach who coaches the coach. right? So I have somebody holding me accountable every single week, just like you do. Because if I don't have somebody reaching my goals. And I will tell you, as a new agent, I like, I got this. I don't need this. The minute I committed to coaching and truly committed and reached out and said, listen, I'm doing all this stuff. It's not working. What am I doing wrong? And we broke it down. I became successful. I did more deals. I made more money. And now I'm coaching. And now it's the flip side, right? So now I'm doing that for others. So there's infinite growth if you have the right person holding you accountable. I think it's on the next slide, Haley. I'm not sure. All right. So you share your goals. What are your long-term goals? What are your medium goals and short goals? You want to create that plan. So in your business plan is great, right? That is your yearly goals. Those are your business plans for the year. Do you guys all have 3-year goals, 5-year goals, someday goals? So remember, each year you're working towards those someday goals. And do not worry if those aren't the goals in 3 years. They're going to change. Last year, if you had asked me, in the beginning of 2021, if you had asked me if I had any intentions of being a productivity coach, I'd be like, nope. Nope. Now, if you ask me what my goals are to become an even better coach and a bigger coach and get certified now for other things. So goals change as you grow. This wants me to partner you guys up. I'm not going to partner you up right now because I do know most, are all of you in productivity coaching? You can either nod, throw it in the chat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you all have an accountability partner. I encourage you to talk to each other as well. Okay. Because bouncing off of each other is going to be just as good as bouncing off of one of us. We can skip it, Haley. On to the next. All right, let's talk about what we've talked about. So we've talked about, actually go to ahas to achievement. Go ahead, go to the next one. So in the last page of your book, it'll say in the time that we've had together, has it helped you think about different ways to hold yourself accountable? Has your thinking changed? How about that? Let's just go with what they say.
Yes, every time you hear it, you pick up something different.
Okay, love it. What else have we pulled out of this today?
For me personally, you made me realize that it's okay to not have all your ducks in a row so quickly, but if you're working to get them in order, that's completely fine.
Love that. Love that.
Right. If you want to get something done, you have to put it on your calendar and actually, set a timeline for when you expect to get it done.
That I love that. Gold star for that one. Anybody else?
Work with a partner.
Love that. Working with partners is great. It doesn't mean you have to share everything, right? Like you're not sharing the deals, but just the ideas. Teamwork is dream work, I promise. We are all in this together. There is more than enough business for every single solitary person on this Zoom. And there is no reason to not help your neighbor. We can make the world a better place. I had to do it. I couldn't resist. What else? What kind of behaviors do you think you're going to change in your daily business? Are we going to stick to it? All right, so listen, let's set our goals to get our career on fire, right? I think this is the next slide, Haley, or maybe like 2 slides later. Yeah, we're in the next one. Right? This is important. 10 contacts added, 10 conversations per day, 10 handwritten notes, and preview 10 homes a week. Previewing 10 homes a week, what does that do for you? What does it help build?
Leads?
It helps build leads, but it helps build your knowledge for when you get that lead. What happens? You can talk about stuff, right? Oh my goodness, I don't even understand why this
My
is so bad.
question with previewing homes, is that just like going to open houses, or is it just like setting up an appointment to walk a home, even with if you don't have a client just yet?
So you can do both, right? You can preview homes by going out. You can go to open houses and see how that's going, but you can also open up the MLS and see what's come on the market every single day. That is a habit you should absolutely get into. Here's why. If I have 10 buyers working, I know what they want, right? And if I open the MLS in the morning, now I have them set up on auto emails, that's fine and dandy. But if I open up and I see that one of those houses is perfect for my client, what am I going to do? But send that to that client and say, hey, I saw this morning. We should definitely go see it. That client's going to come back and say, oh my God, I saw it too. Let's do it. It makes you even better. Right? You want to give yourself an even better. If you get your clients into your app, that is a great way as well to take advantage of the market, because you can see what they're looking at. And if your clients looked at the same house 15 times and you know that house because you've seen it on the market in your MLS system, you send it to them and they think you're like a mind reader. They don't know that you looked at it. They looked at it 15 times, right? So knowing your inventory is going to give you the knowledge you need to secure and land that client, right? To make you their trusted ally and resource. So handwritten notes. Why should we write handwritten notes?
People actually read it.
Rizwana, how did you feel when you got that note?
I felt great.
Right?
Yep.
So that the coffee that was left at the open house and the note card and the pen, that was from an agent. An agent left me a Starbucks coffee and a card because it was a recruiting appointment and I had the next day with her, or 2 days after that open house. She thought I was doing the open house, didn't realize that I wasn't the agent going there, but that's what she did. That was an amazing feeling, right? That she went out of her way to go pick me up a coffee so that I could get through the open house, which I apologize because I didn't know that she didn't know I wasn't going to do it. But these little things make a big difference, right? Who gets a birthday card in the mail anymore? What do you get?
One.
You get a text, you get a Facebook happy birthday. Bring back the personalization, and what happens? You stand out from the rest. Even if you just write a card, it was really great talking to you today. I can't wait till the next time we talk, even if it's not till next quarter. It's okay. And it's a very cheap way. Go to the dollar store. You get 10 for $1. So it's 10 cents plus the 50-cent stamp. So there you go. It's 60 cents for you to send somebody a card to make their day. Practice your scripts. I don't even know what time it is. Has everybody been looking at those scripts in the workbook? Is that what this is? There we go. Thanks, Haley.
You're welcome.
Scripts help you to lead generate, uncover the motivations, identify your objections, close the deals, speak in terms the customer understands, and build confidence. In order to make these scripts work, what do you need to do with them? Why do we practice them? I'd really love it if Cassie could answer this because I know she can, but I don't know if she can talk right now. You can't, that's fine. It's okay. I get it. Go ahead, Alex.
It just comes across as smoother and you seem more confident to the client when you're dealing with it. So they have trust that you're going to do the right thing by them.
Yeah. You have to internalize it and make it personal, right? Don't make it sound like you're reading it. So if you practice it and you get a script partner and you practice back and forth with your script partner, they can do what? Give you
Feedback.
exactly. They're going to give you feedback on what you can do to make it sound better. You'll get to the point where you'll have the knowledge that's in a script that you will just spew it out and you won't even realize it. Anybody got any questions on this? No? Remember, compliance, do not call list. Yeah, that's on there too. I'm not going to have you script practice for 30 minutes and stay on here unless you would like to. I will sit here for 30 minutes and we can turn off, mute everybody, and I will mute. Would you guys like to do that, or are you going to call and actually do it? Does everybody make your calls every day?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's about, or I just send an email or a text message, depending on.
So a text message is definitely counts as a contact for the day, and email does not unless you get a response.
Yeah,
All right, so email is usually the best used when you're dealing with lawyers. Remember that, okay? And banks. All right, so you want to email with your bankers and your lawyers, and you want to talk to your clients. Everything stays in email so that you can go back and double check what was said, what was missed, what was not, so that you want to do it that way. But in order to make it count as a contact made for the day, it needs to be a conversation. So it needs to be a two-way street, not just the text sent out. If it is not reciprocated with an answer, it's not counted as a contact. Stick to your rules because that'll make you a better lead generator. Anybody have any questions today? I can probably, am I going to give you guys back? Ooh, I'm going to give you 30 minutes back of your life. How fun is that?
Yeah, I just have a quick question. You mentioned many times throughout the session the 411. I was just wondering where we can find the 411.
All right, so in the 411, Haley, you want to find that page? But
It's in command. Is it in command? Is it a feature in command?
No. So actually, it's not in command. I can put that actually. So this is what it looks like. Let me see. All right, so mine, I can't give you mine because mine has been modified. Let me see. I know that there is a blank one in your student handbook for Ignite this week. So there is a blank one in there, and what you can do with it. See, it's in your student packet. That was sent out. If you, let me see if I can find it on my computer.
It's fine. It's fine. I can look for it in the student packet if that's fine.
Yeah, it's in the student packet. So this is what I suggest you do, right? Take it out of there, make a photocopy of it, 12 of them, or download it, get it into your computer too, right? Then make a photocopy, write your annual goal on the first one, then photocopy it 12 times, right? Because that's never going to change for the year.
Right.
Then each month, change your goals, because guess what? If in January you were supposed to get 2 deals and you didn't, how many goals do you need in February?
You didn't get your goals in January yet. In February, you have to do double.
Exactly, right? If you get in January, if your goals were 2, but you got 3, what are you doing in February?
Also 2.
I love it. Good job. Absolutely. We do not lower the goals just because we did better. right? Because if we do that, that doesn't make any sense. If we stay consistently getting those 2 and we get lucky and we get 3 or 4, that just means we're going to do better than we expected. And we're going to be able to stretch our goals even more. Or we need to revisit those goals and say, maybe I was a little lenient on myself. Goals are not goals unless you're uncomfortable. Any other ahas, questions, anything? Would you love to have 30 minutes back in your life? To go lead generate and make some money? Emily, you got something?
To add contacts, more contacts.
Exactly. Alex, is your hand still up or is it up again? I can't tell.
Sorry, that was an accident.
That's okay. No, I was just checking because listen, I'm really bad at that. I put my hands up and down like all the time. It's fine. All right, guys, I'm gonna put my info in the chat. If anyone has any questions, okay, it helps if you know how to type too. Just saying.
I'm going to put a link to the 411 in the chat too. It can be found on KW Connect. I found it.
Thanks, Love Muffin.
You're welcome.
I have one in my drive. I just don't. The one in my PC drive, actually, I have modified so it says how many contacts they need to make, listing appointments, things like that. So just to give them a guide. So mine's a little different. I'm going to put the blank one in there too so they can use whichever one. All right, so that's all of my info. If anybody has any questions later on, please feel free to reach out to me. I am always available. I won't lie, email me or text me first. Most times is best. If it's a fire, call me. It was great talking to all of you. Thank you for participating. And if you have any other questions, again, reach out to any of us and we are happy to help.
Thank you.
Thank you
You
so
are so
much.
welcome. Go lead generate, get some deals, sell some houses.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.